Hi everyone, welcome to Art at Home with Allie. Today I'm going to show you how to create a really simple pop-up card. And we're going to look at a couple pop-up books for inspiration. The first one is Monsters Big Day. And I'm not going to read the book, but I just want to show you a couple pop-ups. How many of you have a pop-up book or have ever checked one out from the library before? They're really fun. They look really complex and hard to make, but actually a lot of them are just simple folds, which you'll find out today. Ooh, let's zoom out so we can see this. Isn't it fun how a whole scene suddenly appears? This page says, "Good morning, Wetmore Forest," Snaggletooth said with a grin. "Now that harvest time is done, the celebration can begin." Let's look at the back of this. I like how the picture's printed on the back too. But you can see there's folds in the book, so the pages can fold in when the book closes. And then there's also a crease here, and if we turn it this way and kind of look at it from here, there are actually little tabs folded out to hook into the book. And I like how it just seems to be magically folding in, even though it's not really magic, it's just learning the right folds. "Wake up, the creatures chimed like noisy alarms. Tumblebee greeted the morning sun as he yawned and stretched out his arms." Let's look at the back of this one. Can you see back there? See how a lot of these pages are just folded in half, and then they have little tabs. Our pop-up's actually going to be a lot easier than that, but let me show you something that would be an example of a pop-up that's really complex, and by that I mean harder to make. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Right away off the bat, whoa, oh my goodness. Now you can see my messy kitchen table here, which is where I'm doing this at. But look at how huge that is. Let's turn this around and look at it from the other side. Oh, look there, you can see the Cheshire Cat in the tree. So this book is super fun. Besides the pop-ups, it also has these little pouches. I can get it, there we go. That kind of pull out or open up that you can look through. So it's a very interactive book. So who knows? Maybe this is the direction you're heading in after you do your first pop-up card. Look at this one. I think it's amazing. You could say this is paper engineering, right? It's very similar to origami as well, creating three-dimensional shapes with paper and having to do a lot of problem solving to figure out how they are going to work in a pop-up. Here is an example of what we're going to make. I haven't done anything on the cover, just a simple piece of construction paper, but then, so mine is a pop-up of an animal. Can you tell what animal this is? If you look at the habitat, it might give you some clues. It's by water, and I was thinking it was on the river. There's some different logs and sticks floating there. This is one of my favorite animals. It's the river otter. And look at how simple this is. This is just called a box fold. And this is really easy to make. And it allows you to do lots of different things, which I'll show you in the video. I chose to create a whole habitat around my pop-up, but I also created another flap to include writing. And it says, "The North American river otter is a mammal that only lives on the North American continent. It lives around waterways and coasts. They are carnivores. Baby otters are called pups. Otters can hold their breath for up to 8 minutes. They are built for swimming. So you might decide to add writing to your pop-up card. Depending on what you use for the cover of your card, you might also choose to make a title, or maybe you are going to actually make a card to give someone. Giving the gift of art is a great idea. People love to get art. So maybe you make this the front of their card, and then inside you put something special. Maybe the person you're making the card for loves cactuses or succulents, and you could put like a little cacti plant inside there. So let me show you how to get started. Here's what you'll need. And you really could use any size paper for this. This is just what I chose to use. So you could either follow along with the sizes I'm using, or you could try your own. It really doesn't matter. This is just an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper cut in half. So just like a regular piece of like printer paper, drawing paper cut in half. And then I cut a piece of 9 by 12 construction paper in half. Okay, so this is going to be my cover. This is going to be the pop-up, and I'm going to be cutting on this to create the item that pops out. So first thing you want to do is fold your paper in half. And I like to do something called hold it, then fold it, where I'm holding it, I'm lining up the corners and sides, and mine's not perfect because I cut it myself, so it's not going to be perfect. It's good enough. I'm holding it and then I'm folding it, and I can use my thumb and make a nice crease. And if it bothers you that it's uneven, you can always trim it, right? So the next step is I'm going to make 2 cuts in the middle, and I'm going to draw these 2 lines to help you see if you can see that. Now I'm going to cut those, and just those. So 1 snip here, 1 snip there. Then I'm going to go ahead and fold that and make a nice fold by pressing it down. And then I'm going to flip it over and just fold it the other way. Wow, we're almost done with the pop-up part of it. Because then this opens up and I have my hand underneath and I'm just popping that up. Kind of, I say it's like a little tent, and I like pinch it, and that's the box fold. That's it. Pretty easy, right? Now, the nice thing about this is it's like a little stand that we can glue our item to. Whether you're going to make an animal, a person, maybe you want to make a character from a book or game. You could also make an object, like I mentioned, a plant, flowers. You could make food. Maybe you have a birthday cake that pops out of here. I don't know. I bet you're going to come up with lots of ideas. Maybe this looks like a table to you and you just want to color it like a table and set something on it. I think I'm just going to do a cat sleeping on a rug. Probably because I had to put my cat in a room to make this video because he's pretty curious. So I can hear him crying. So I'll make this pop-up card in honor of him. He'll get to come out. Maybe I'll have him come out at the end of the video to say hi. Okay, so now I have to draw the cat. So I have my paper and I have my cards sitting here. I need to figure out how big this cat's going to be. I want it to be bigger than this. So I'm actually going to cut this paper to about the rough size of what I want my cat to be. Does that make sense? If you can see it. Okay, I'm going to draw the cat and then I'm going to worry about showing you how to put it on the pop-up, okay? So I'm going to zoom in for this so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so some of this might be cut away, but some of it's going to stay. So first I'm just thinking of a cat laying on a cushion. Might look a little cartoony. Maybe some of you have pets or favorite animals that you'd like to draw for this project. That's actually that looks like angry eyebrows, but that was actually like the little marking on the head there. Okay, so there's the cat. I'm gonna use like a little outlining pen. You could use, this is a micron pen. You could use a Sharpie, you could use a ballpoint pen. I have a cup of some different crayons that I'm gonna use. I'll just set these out. Oh, fun. This one has no crayon in it. It's just the wrapper. All right. So I've got my crayons, I've got my outlining pen, I've got some markers. So I'm just going to go over this really quick. And don't feel like you have to outline your pictures. I'm outlining this so it shows up on the pop-up. Real life, we know, is not outlined, right? So if you're doing something realistic, you don't have to feel like you have to outline it. And the nice thing about this too, it's just a small piece of paper. So, well, if you feel like you've messed up, you can just get a new piece of paper or erase it or flip it over. That blue crayon wants to be part of the fun, I guess. All right, so I like to use lots of different materials when I add color. The first thing I'm going to do though is I'm just going to erase the pencil marks. And my cat is black and, well, dark gray and white and tan, but I think I'm going to make more of an orange cat here. If I press down harder, I can get a darker color. Maybe I'll start light and then I'll add some darker marks in. And I'm going a little fast. You can take your time. I like to not use markers on the part that's going to pop up, and here's why. It's because I don't want the paper to get kind of soggy. I want it to stand up straight, so I try to use colored pencils or crayons and just like the outlining pen. Otherwise, I found that if I use marker, it gets way too floppy. You know how marker kind of puts, it makes it's wetter than a crayon is dry. Because marker has like an ink in it. So I put some little markings on the cat. Okay, maybe it will have like a little darker stomach or neck there and some pinkish ears. All right, so there's my little sleeping kitty, and I'm gonna make a little rug for it. So I'm just gonna draw some lines. It's on a multicolored rug, which means there's lots of colors. I love using crayons. I like using lots of colors together. Okay, so here's the interesting part. Bringing the card over and I'm gonna flatten it out. Okay, this is gonna get glued right here, but before I do that, I like to actually just hold it there and finish drawing, and then I glue it on. So I know it's gonna be right here, and might be hard for, I might have to do some of it upside down, but I think you're going to get the idea. So I'm going to finish the rug. And I'll move this in a second, but I have to hold it down. So if you're making an animal in its habitat, you could think of where your animal is. If maybe you're making a person from a book or a movie, think about this setting, just like when you read a story. Where is it happening? Where is it taking place? I mean, if you're making a cake, is there like balloons behind it? Is there a poster that says happy birthday? Maybe you love sports and you want to make a basketball that pops up with a net behind it. Okay, so there's the cat on the rug. I'm imagining that it's right behind it is a window. And again, I'm going pretty fast here. You could take your time more when you do it. It's a little awkward because I'm standing up too. Maybe outside we see, maybe it's summer and we see some grass. Yeah, maybe it's a picture frame on the wall too. It could be that. See like a little tree out there. Maybe we see, there's the sky. It's the window, so. And I wanted to show you the whole background so you can see how actually easy it is to make the background. I should have used this marker first. It's kind of drying out. Maybe I can. I'm just putting some lines on it because it's a window, so it kind of looks like the glass of the window. And I'm going to imagine that there's some wallpaper. So I'm drawing right over the cat, not the cat, the paper that the cat is on, onto the paper behind it. See? And then I'm going to take that off because when we turn it at an angle, we'll still see behind there. So I'm going to get all of this added. And that's actually the same thing that I did for this one, right? You can see when you look at it sideways, it's still colored, but the otter blends in with the background that I added there. It's not perfect, but it works. Okay. I'm going to wait till the very end to glue that cat down because I think it's easier to actually color on here without that glued on. I understand that you might be super excited and want to glue it on right away, but if you're planning to do any more coloring, it's going to be easier for yourself to wait. And I guess I didn't end up using any marker here, but you could use marker. I just would not have it be the main material. Okay, so now I could still, I don't know if I want to, I could even color this just in case we see it from the side. It's up to you how detailed you want to be. Probably don't really need to because people are going to be paying attention to the cat. I could have cut out, and I'll do it just to show you. I could glue it on just like this, right? But if I wanted to cut some of it out, I could cut out just around the top half. So I'm going to cut some of its whiskers off, which is a sad part, but oh well. You can still see how this works. Then you can just at least get an idea of what you want to do. Alrighty, so now If it gets stuck, just fold it in half again and it will re-pop up. And you can always stick your finger back here and poke it out. I'm going to use a glue stick and just put a good amount of glue on that little part of the box. Stick the kitty on there. And again, I'm going to fold it in half. I might have to poke it out. Gently fold it in half, and there it is. It worked. Now, in order to finish it up, that's what the construction paper is for. And you would do the same thing. This is pretty easy. You fold that in half, and you could use any color construction paper. And then I'm just going to glue it in there. And that will hide this little notch on the back that's cut out. So what I like to do is keep this folded in half and put glue on just one side. Stick that on there, line it up on the fold, and press down, and then put glue on the other side. See how I'm going in one direction? I'm just going up. Whatever, just pick a direction, because if you go back and forth, then that's what makes the paper crinkled. Oh, I got a little glue inside there too. I don't want that. I'd have to pick that out of there. Okay. Then I just fold this over and smooth it, and then let's see if it worked. Ta-da! It did. So there's my kitty. Now, one last thing I was going to mention is, you know how my otter had the secret flap? All I should have, well, I could still write on here. I could write here if I wanted. I had just left that blank, and then really all I did, I'll show you. This is not an evenly cut piece of paper, but you'll get the idea. I took a piece of paper and folded a little tab. And I probably won't leave it on here, but I put glue on it. And then I just lined it up and started coloring right over it to blend it in with the rest of the picture. And then, boop, that part opens up. I could write about the cat, right? And if you have like metallic markers that write on black paper, or metallic colored pencils, if you're using black, that would show up. Or if you're using a different color of construction paper, you could, maybe you want to make a title, or if it's a card, you could decorate it how the front of a card would look to whoever you're giving it to. Well, I hope this gives you some ideas on creating a fun pop-up. This is just the beginning. I guarantee that if you do this, you're going to want to make more of them, and you might even want to look up online some new ideas on making pop-ups, because there's so many videos out there made for young people or beginners. Like, I'm a beginner. I haven't made a ton of pop-ups because I thought it was going to be hard, and then I explored it and I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty easy and it's really fun. So maybe you're going to make all sorts of pop-ups, or even create your own pop-up book in the future. Have fun. Thanks for watching.